Alright guys, I just realized that I had not made a video about the upcoming Hawkeye TV show, which I'm kind of excited about. So you gotta understand, I'll be honest, and I'm a Marvel comic fan. I like Marvel comics better than DC. I like all comics, but I like Marvel comics, and I have for a long time. And in the 2000s, I was getting bored. It just felt like it was just the same stuff over and over, flash in the pan stuff. In 2012, they made the Hawkeye series. Now, Hawkeye, I never really liked Hawkeye, like at all. Like he was in the Avengers as the one, I guess, regular human being, I guess. But I was never super impressed with the guy. He was a thief. He was really originally a bad guy. So when I first started reading comics, Hawkeye was a bad guy. And slowly but surely he became an Avenger and he kind of redeemed himself. Well, the Hawkeye comic book dealt with real issues that I was honestly interested in. You know, here's a guy that he is a regular person, and this comic series, 2012 to, I don't know, 2014, 2015, something like that, what it dealt with was, how does a regular human being keep up with gods and superpowered individuals? And the answer is not very well. He is a regular guy. His whole thing is he can shoot an arrow. And so, you know, they kind of highlighted that a little bit better. And the comic series was really cool because of that. And I'm out here in the desert, and I have a couple of dogs following me here. They're desert dogs. They just showed up here on the site. But basically, I'm interested in this TV show, and I do believe the TV show will be almost 100% just that, a reimagining of that Hawkeye series, and that Hawkeye series was so good that a B-lister like Hawkeye became for a while Marvel Comics best-selling comic book. So that comic series was great, and I'll tell you, another character that I don't like as much is Green Arrow. I never really liked him that much, and there's a novel writer named Brad Meltzer who took over Green Arrow. If you ever want to see good Green Arrow stories, that's the only ones. And that's not true, but that is definitely one of the best runs on the show, or on the show, on the comic. Yeah, I watched the TV show too. So, without ado, I wrote down a top 10 list of what I think this Hawkeye series will be about. I'll kind of run through it real quick, and you know, we'll talk about it. So first off, this show's going to have the tracksuit mafia. Now, I haven't watched all of the trailers, and the reason I haven't is, unlike Spider-Man, where I've watched each trailer and I'm looking for what the show is going to be about. I want to be a little bit surprised with this, but you know, whatever. It's going to have the tracksuit mafia. I have seen the first teaser trailers, what they call it, and it definitely showed guys in running suits. So that's my first prediction. They'll be called the tracksuit mafia. So the next one, number 2, plan to hear the word bro a lot, bro. Just like our stray dogs here, which we're trying to rectify. Expect there to be a stray dog on the show. I didn't see, that wasn't in the first trailer, I think, but it will be there. In the comic, Hawkeye's living above a pizza restaurant, and there's a dog named Arrow, a little on the nose, guys, that he ends up getting just messed up. I think it loses an eye and an ear, but it does all that, actually helping out Clint. And so he pays a lot of money and keeps the dog alive. Also, I think, if I remember right, he ends up paying his neighbor's rent to keep the apartment out of the tracksuit mafia's hands. So I kind of think that'll happen. But so number 3 is Lucky, the dog, or Arrow. It will be in the show. Also, I kind of mentioned it earlier. Hey, doggy. I think Hawkeye is going to get beat up a lot. That's one of the things that was really cool. Actually, I suspect it'll do the same thing. Every comic book, I think, started with Hawkeye just in a bad position. Even the first, now, this is 2012, so this is 9 years ago. So, and I'm old, so let me digress a little. But I think the first comic book had, like, started out something to the effect of, I'm an Avenger, I'm a this, I'm a that, the best archer, and this is what I do in my time off. And then they come back and he's in the hospital, coming out of the hospital. And I think he does like a flip and kicks the wheelchair away and apologizes to the guy because I think he got run over or something like this. And he says, "Don't worry, we'll pay for it." But so expect him to end up in the hospital a lot. Expect him to get hurt a lot. So he's going to get beat up a lot. So then number 5, I have expect Hawkeye to lose his hearing. So here's a couple of things about me, and this was maybe partially why I like the comic series. I am a disabled veteran, and part of that disability is I've lost most of my hearing, and the rest is slowly but surely going away as well. And so I thought it was really cool that Clint was a normal human being and having to do similar things to me, shoot guns and do stuff like that, be around explosions. He was losing his hearing. So kind of cool stuff. Let's see. So Elenor Bishop will be in the show, I believe. Kate Bishop's in the show. I'm not putting that down as a guess because she's in the show. Most of the show is going to be that series where she's taking over for Hawkeye. And actually, at the end of the Hawkeye series, they started another with her. Wasn't as much fun. Still kind of cool. I read it and it was okay. So Elenor Bishop will be in it. Elenor Bishop is Kate Bishop's mom. She's also known as Madame Masque, and she's not a good guy. And that's kind of the deal. So Kate Bishop's kind of trying to atone for things that her ma did. Val will be in the show. So we saw Val at the end of Black Widow. We saw her at the end of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. She is recruiting and building a team. I think she's building a team for the government, and that team would be the Thunderbolts. Or, contrarily, she could be building the Dark Avengers, or they could be combining the two. So, I think Val will be in the show. And that's Elaine from Seinfeld for you older folks. The Black Widow, I guess Black Widow 2 will be in the show. And she's going to be out for blood. I don't think she's going to play a major part in the show, but she'll be in the show. Echo is going to be in the show. So, again, a couple things you don't know about me. Echo is kind of cool. She is deaf. She's a lot like Taskmaster, not MCU Taskmaster, where they screwed the whole thing up, but a real Taskmaster where she can copy other people's movements and quickly, almost instantaneously, learn their fighting styles and that kind of thing. Cassandra Cain is another one that's like that in Batman. I guess she was Batwoman, I guess, or Batgirl. I don't know. I forget now. But basically, Echo is deaf, and the theory is kind of like with Matt Murdock being blind. She is able to mimic better, like one sense is gone, and so the others take over. Also, what's really cool about her is she's Native American. I'm Cherokee, and it's neat to have Native Americans represented in the MCU. There's a lot of comic Native Americans. I think she's Cheyenne. I don't recall for sure. I think she's Cheyenne though. Shawnee? No, I think she's Cheyenne. Sorry, I'm arguing with myself here. But expect to have that kind of put out there. Next, we have the next one is the Tracksuit Mafia. So now I've got 11 here. I was supposed to do 10. So the Tracksuit Mafia is going to be run by one person. I think we're going to be led to believe this Madam Masque. But Echo is in the show. If Echo is in the show, that means the Kingpin is in the show. And so I think the Tracksuit Mafia ultimately is going to be led by the Kingpin. Now, Echo is in the show. I've seen toys with Echo in it, and so I believe Echo is in the show. I haven't seen any toys that have the Kingpin, but without question, the Kingpin is in the show. That's number 11, the 11th one. Kingpin is in the show. Now, the reason I haven't watched the previews is because there are two comic books that I really liked in this run, and one of them is done completely from Lucky's point of view, and it's just masterful. I don't know. I thought it was great. So I do suspect that it's possible we'll see a whole episode of the show from Lucky's point of view. Maybe after Clint takes him to the animal hospital, maybe somewhere around there. I sure hope so. Now the other one, and it's very possible they do this. So again, in the comic, Clint is going deaf, and it's kind of cool. Also, Echo is deaf. In the comics, there is a whole episode a whole comic book that was entirely in sign language, no words, just sign language, and it was pretty amazing. And I think that would be amazing to do on the show. Now, I'm not putting these as 12 and 13, mostly because that's unlucky, and we already have Lucky the dog. Don't want to go unlucky. But I do think that it's possible that we'll get an episode all in sign language, or at least the main plot points be in sign language, maybe between Clint and Echo. But boy, I sure hope so. So those are my top 10, I guess 11, and I'll call the other two as an and a half. So that's what I have, guys. I got to go to 14. If I get to 13, it's unlucky. 5 seconds. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one. Bye.